name is Richard Beaver. My rank was IC second class petty officer. And on the Abnaki I was in charge of the electrical crew at one time as the second class, and just studied the manuals on all the motors and controllers and knew all the spare parts that went for every motor and controller. So it was something I liked and I did my best at. And we went various places in the Pacific, Hong Kong, Japan, towed some World War II Lend-Lease ships back from Russian that returned them over to us from northern Japan. We did go into the harbor in Maizuru, Japan, and and we waited in there at night. The Russians would come in at night, tow in these vessels, and we'd wake up in the morning and look out, and here was the Russian vessel with all the tows side by side anchored out. But we never would do any interaction with them, and we would stand by our flag when we moved around to pick up the vessels, and Russians would theirs too, but they wouldn't dip their flag and we didn't dip ours. But we was ready to do it, but we didn't do it. And then we'd pick the tows up, and then our guys would rig them to string them out. And, I think the most we towed at one time was 5 at a time. We got 2 batches of them. The first 5 that we picked up were pretty rough. They were stripped. They'd taken the gyro, and I took care of gyro compass. That was my primary job on the Abnaki, was gyro compass. And they had stripped down all the electrical that was of any value, and they were not operational, these first 5. But when we came back for the second batch, we actually got the engine started on one of them, and they were pretty rough even then. I mean, they smelled bad because they had fish oil on the decks. They don't use paint like we do, they use fish oil, and they were pretty stinky. But other than that, we actually got the engines running on one of them just to start at one of the auxiliary generators. And then we had, on that second group, we had one barge that had a PT boats on it. So we got to go on a PT boat, which was kind of exciting for me to go on there and see the engines and the layout of a PT boat. And we just looked it over, and it was quite interesting to see that. Well, there was a PT boat on the barge and 3 crash boats. They were crash boats, they call them. They were a little smaller they were quite a bit smaller than a PT, but they used them to go pick up flyers during the war that got shot down. And the other boats were LSILs, which are a landing craft type boat that had ramps that went down the sides of it. And they'd have personnel, land personnel on the beach. And they were not LSTs, but they were LSILs. Came back to Hawaii. Pearl Harbor was our home port. And then from there we towed targets for other ships to fire at, and we towed water barges and fuel barges to Midway Island, to Kwajalein, and then we went to the Marshall Islands to Operation Red Wing, which was an atomic test, hydrogen bomb test. And we was there to move barges around from place to place to catch fallout, and also for helicopter landings.